number of anti-drug commercials that this station airs in between every break. I mean, from this guy who lost his wife in a railroad accident and he's blaming it on marijuana, to the Partnership for a Drug-Free America, to who the hell is controlling the editorial philosophy of this station? William Bennett? I mean, really, what is this, a catharsis? In case people here get busted, we'll be able to say we did all these anti-drug commercials? I'm just fed up. Why don't we run a commercial for NORML, the National Organization to Reform Marijuana Laws? That's a 501c3 organization. What, when people go to the hospital, they don't use drugs? When people have headaches, they don't use drugs? When they have medical conditions, they don't use drugs? It's not the drugs, folks, okay? Drugs are not bad. Drugs have been prescribed for illnesses and medical conditions over the entire history and span of human existence. It's the people screwing them up. 8:08 a.m. Let's go to Cheryl on line 2. Welcome back to the Norm Kent Show.
Hi, this is Carol.
Oh, it's Carol.
Yes, everybody calls me Cheryl. I don't. Maybe I should change my name. Anyway, this is kind of a strange request.
Okay.
And I don't even know if you can handle it. I listen to you every morning on the way to work, and it's only like a 20-minute drive. But this morning...
Well, there's only one thing to do.
Get a job further away.
Yeah, how'd you know I was going to say that?
I don't know, just a lucky guess. Anyway, I got in my car about 20 after 7, and you were speaking to a lady that was, carrying on about a lot of different things, and her voice just sounded so familiar to me as to someone that I had met many years ago from New York, and her name was Liz. And when you hung up, you said, "Well, thanks for calling, Elizabeth." And I'm like, that had to have been her, and I haven't been in contact with this woman for about 8 years.
Are you sure?
I could swear it was her. She must have moved down here. She's an older lady that was ready to retire back when I knew her. And
was she a Satanist?
A Satanist?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, well, you should have...
Was she?
I don't know. How can we link you up together, although a lot of people call in and use fake names? They're afraid to use their real name because they know how many people are listening and that actually might recognize their voice.
Really?
Yeah, like that guy who called in and said he was John Cruz.
Oh, right.
And his real name is David Bleep, Bleep, Bleep.
No, but...
He just took a deep... Let me tell you, that boy just took a deep breath. I'll tell you what.
No, but this woman has a distinctive voice, and I heard her. She was a speaker at a convention that I was at many years ago.
No kidding. What did she talk about? Was it interesting? Do you have a tape? Do we have video?
No. I have an audio tape, though. A couple audio tapes of her. In fact, I've lost one of them, and I would love to get in contact with her again. And I know it was her. When you said goodbye, Elizabeth, I said I know that it had to be her.
Okay. Well, here's what we're going to do to try to reconnect you with a voice from your past. I am going to, what am I going to do?
Put me off the air.
I'm going to put you off the air.
Number?
I'll have Michael take your number. And if Elizabeth calls back, Elizabeth will get the number from Mike.
Yeah, hopefully she's still listening, and maybe we can, I can get together.
Okay, and if I can help any lesbian dating service, we're glad to do it here.
Thank you.
If that doesn't work, call up between 9 and 10 on Saturday nights.
What's 9 and 10? Oh, yeah,
That's
right.
That's Dateless and Desperate.
I used to call Jerry Wichner years ago when we first moved down here. He used to have one of these Swami shows on. Do you remember that? Were you here?
No, thank God.
He used to have one of these Swami shows on, like, late at night, and you used to call in, and all you gave him was your birth date. And he used to go on and tell you all these weird things about your past and what's going to happen to you in the future. And
all right, I did that a couple of times.
Did you?
Yeah.
He used to do this every night from like 11 to 12 or something.
I knew there was a reason the man walked in circles. Okay.
Okay?
All right.
A lot, Norm. Bye-bye.
When I have Ernie Soshin's biorhythm meter here that tells me all about people, that's when I do that.
Ah, okay. So you're going to let me give my phone number to Mike?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and, he hasn't had a date in a while, so maybe he can use it for himself.
And I'll try to get transferred to a further away job so I can listen to you longer.
Okay.
Thanks.
Either that or, make the employer do something like put my show on the air.
Why?
Because I give advice on how to quit legally.
Okay, I was really interested and sort of fascinated with your obscure reference to Holden Caulfield. I'm also a bookie-type person. Meanwhile, I also have another type of...
Yeah, I'll bet on the Dodgers this week.
Pardon me?
A bookie-type person?
Okay, you're really quick this morning.
I am so quick this morning. In fact, that's what people were saying all weekend. Anyway, it's 12 minutes after 8.
Let me get this in before you go wherever you're going to go. You also made this little recording you had in the background about people about not knowing and not caring. That's the punchline of a joke that I used to tell, where a guy was called up for a telephone survey, and the guy said, we're doing a very important survey on ignorance and apathy, and the guy said, well, I don't know and I don't care, goodbye. I thought that was sort of funny. Ignorance and apathy, I don't know and I don't care.
I think that's really good.
Well, I don't know how...
You told it a little quick, though.
Yeah, you
got to go something. You got to do it. Comedy. Everything in comedy is timing. You have to go something like, "Damn it, there's too much apathy in this world." Yeah, but who cares?
Who cares is right.
You have to. Timing is everything.
Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, this business with Paul Rubens, that's sort of also an unusual situation. I mean,
now, here's what I have a question about that for you.
Yeah.
Tell me what the hell cops were doing in an adult bookstore to begin with.
Well, they, as I understand it, I mean, I got it from a couple different sources. Apparently in Sarasota, they're on some kind of a moral crusade, and they were doing a sting operation. Now, how legitimate the setup was, and what the concept or the reasoning behind it was, I don't think they went that deep into it. But I'm with you on that.
They caught him masturbating.
Pardon me?
They caught Pee-wee masturbating.
I'm aware of that. I mean, like I say, I mean, how many people?
Hard to even put the evidence in a locker room.
I don't know what the ratio is, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that were masturbating that were never caught, and they're the ones that are raising hell about this whole thing. In other words, how bad he is. Well, I mean, I don't know how. I mean, it's a matter of just how truthful you want to be with things in general. I mean, what can I say? As Holden Caulfield would say, ask Mr. Yossarian in his wonderful tree.
There you go.
Quoth Joseph Heller.
I mean,
pardon?
Alan Arkin played a great role in that film.
Yeah, well, the book was better than the movie, I thought. Listen, it's been different speaking with you, and as far as Elizabeth's concerned, take the money and run. As Woody Allen would.
No, was that Elizabeth? It was Stephanie that wants to keep the money.
Oh, don't confuse me. It's so early in the morning.
Yeah, no, Stephanie, keep the goddamn money and go buy food for your kid, okay?
Got to ask you one other question.
Or send it to me.
Well, no, I'm going to ask you over the air. I'm sure you're a fan of Neil Rogers, as am I. But the one guy that called about the Series E bond, it sounded like the bridge tender. Is that possible?
The bridge tender? I don't know. It could be.
The guy, about giving him hell about the bridges being up and down, and he called him a stupid, idiotic jerk.
Speaking of giving him hell and stupid, idiotic jerks.
Okay.
If Neil Rogers keeps on knocking me, okay?
No, he doesn't.
If he keeps on knocking me...
He doesn't knock you. He likes you.
Boy, I'll tell you, he's in trouble. I might just go throw Cub paint all over his driveway.
Okay. Talk to you later.
All right. Well, the lines are open again at 733-1400 in Broward, 1-800-874-3454 in Dade and Palm Beach. Can I take one more call? We've got 30 seconds till the break. So we've got a few open lines now. We've got a guy named Norm holding on. He's got to be a cool dude, so we'll give him a chance to speak, right? We will in just a minute after we take this break. And I know a lot of you are wondering about what the hell happened to my sports report. Well, I just dug up the USA Today. And let me tell you, there were about 11, 12, 13, 14 games yesterday. They're all exciting. And we'll talk about them when we come back, too. But, I just want to piss off Judge Lebo, so that's why I'm kind of letting it linger, so to speak, as Al would say. We'll be back.
Florida's talk leader, AM 14, WFTL. And more talk with Stormin' Norman Kent.
Okay, it's 8:19 a.m. and we're just cooking this morning. I mean, we are just like sizzling. I mean, it's like we're just putting some of those hot dog ranch fries right in the oil. And Wings Plus tonight, the Hot Sun Rotisserie League at Wings Plus in Fort Lauderdale tonight. So tell Mr. Walsh to get it ready. Dennis Martinez with a perfect game knocks out the Dodgers. Frank Viola loses and Andy Bennis shuts him out. San Francisco tops Philly 2-1. Kevin Mitchell with a homer. Houston 9-7 over Pitt. Houston brings up a crop of young rookies. How about that? They'll all be playing for the Marlins next year. The Marlins shut out by the Rockies yesterday, 6-0. Atlanta 6-2, beaten by the Cubs, and the Cards stop Cincinnati, who are headed in reverse, 3-2. We'll be back with the American League in a minute. Let's go to. Let's see. We said Norm. We'd put him on. Yes.
Norm.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
What's going on?
Sunday's paper, the Miami Herald, I only caught you from 7 o'clock on, so I don't know if you even talked about it. Bill Bradley's open letter to the president.
No, I did not see that.
I mean, he hit home. He really did.
Are we talking Bill, the senator from New Jersey?
That's correct. Correct.
What did he say? Because I spent 6 to 7 ripping George Bush and a whole bunch of other people.
You would have loved this because, I mean, he tore him apart.
Was this in the viewpoint section?
Yes. And it's too long to read it to you. I'd love to, but I'll give you a couple of things out of it. Your convictions. He listed 5 doubts about the president, and this is doubt number 5. Mr. President, as Vice President to Ronald Reagan, you were a loyal lieutenant. To my knowledge, you never expressed public opposition to anything that happened in race relations in the Reagan years. The Reagan Justice Department tried to give government tax subsidies to schools that practice racial discrimination as a matter of policy, and you went along. They were reluctant to push the Voting Rights Act renewal, and you went along. They vetoed the 88 Civil Rights Restoration Act, and you went along. For 8 years, there was an assault on American civility and fair play, and you went along. On what issue would you have spoken out? And he goes on like this throughout the entire letter, and it's like a full page.
Well, I'm glad it was a letter, because if he was giving a speech, you would have fallen asleep. I don't know if you've ever seen Bill talk, but it's not quite like the way he dribbled the basketball.
Oh, but, you know...
Not quite as much excitement from that Michigan Stater.
He went to Princeton, didn't he?
Oh, Princeton, whatever, what the hell.
Okay.
I didn't think anybody would get me that wrong that quick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm sure some sports freak would have called in and yelled.
Oh, but if you can get a hold of it...
I will.
Please do, because, I mean, he blasted the living daylights out of the man.
I will go back and read it right away.
He talked about going to Washington.
But you know what? It's not George Bush. You see, I have a different philosophy on the rule of law than most people.
Which is?
Well... You see, we have been a society of laws for 200 years.
Yeah.
And we still have poverty, and we still have racism, and we still have sexism, and we still have corrupt governments, and we still have discrimination, and we still have people dying of illnesses that they should not have to die for, and we still have one of the highest infancy death rates in the world here in America.
What?
So we ought to stop thinking that it's a Republican or Democratic issue and recognize, much to our chagrin and embarrassment, that the, quote, rule of law integrates into it a plan and a pattern of institutionalized corruption, racism, and crookedry, you know? That's the way it is. We're not as noble and loving a people as we say. No. 7 years after we passed the Bill of Rights in, in 1798, they passed an Alien and Sedition Act, making it a crime to speak out against the country. We're just a bunch of corrupt SOBs, but we, congratulate ourselves because it's easier to write textbooks that way.
Where do you're talking about textbooks? Do you know that there's nothing in textbooks in high school about the Vietnam War? There's nothing in there about the things that and I believe it's a shame syndrome that we go through. Welfare, poverty, what we do and so on. They think of words like welfare as a bad word. And again, it has to do with shame. You don't...
See, that's because when you give it to poor people in Harlem, it's welfare, but when you give it to Lee Iacocca, it's a governmental subsidy.
Exactly. And it's a shame thing. People don't want to admit that we have this kind of situation in our country. But like you said earlier, like every 10 years we spent money just on ourselves, we'd probably eliminate a lot of this stuff.
All right, I'm all for, I think I'm going to go into one of these neo-isolationist theories where we don't give a dime to anybody else.
Well,
because, let's just give it to, Neil Bush and see what he does with it the second time around.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll make even more money.
Well, maybe this BCCI, this Bank of Commerce and Credit International, which is the American CIA, I'll tell you, the people running that were the people who planned Watergate, okay?
Exactly.
All right.
Nice talking with you, Norm.
Okay, well, maybe you can fax me that letter or mail me a copy.
I'd gladly do it.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot. Just mail it to us here at the station. P.O. Box 100, 819, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33310. PBR in Palm Beach. Good morning.
Hi, how are you doing today? I'm Yakov Smirnov.
Yeah, you're a lot more than that. What did you spend the weekend drinking Absolute?
No, I just came from Russia. I had a very bad flight.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Yes, I asked the baggage handler to take my bag. I turn around and he has my wife.
Tell me something. Do you realize that the Comedy Corner closed because of people like you? Okay. All right, it's 8:26 a.m. here on the FTL network, and all of a sudden the lines are open now that the assholes are off the air. It's 733-1400 in Broward, 1-800-874-3454 in Palm Beach and Dade County, and star FTL. Dennis Martinez, can you believe it? A perfect game, only the 15th in American baseball history. Texas, 10-6 over Detroit. The White Sox stop Boston. Boy, are they reeling. The White Sox not only swept the 3-game series, Jesse Farber, but Thigpen had 3 saves in 3 games. And, of course, in my season in rotisserie hell, I traded away Thiggy about a week ago for Jeff Russell, who only blew 2 games for Texas over the weekend. Kansas City crushed Toronto, you Leamington people out there, 10-4. And Milwaukee dominated Minnesota. Beat them up with whips and chains and all sorts of things, 11-2, with Seattle knocking off Cleveland 6-5. Cleveland continues its surge to be the worst team in the history of baseball. Oakland stops Baltimore 4-3. You know, they're laughing at Canseco for going nuts the other day. He called a fan out in the stands. I mean, he's losing it. He broke down crying after the game. Here's a guy who's perhaps one of the greatest players in the history of the game, but he has the emotional stability of a 10-year-old and heat. I mean, when age and maturity go into mix, it's not just that, you know, he carried a gun in his car and he does 90 miles an hour on a highway, but this is the second incident this year where he's got into a shouting match with one of the fans in the stands. They may have to put barbed wire around the stadium in Oakland so he doesn't leap up and do his Jimmy Pearsall imitation. Because what would Norman Bates ever say? So anyway, who was that? Anthony Perkins, right? So Canseco hits a home run, wins the game. He's got, we are not even at August 1st yet. He's got 27 homers and 79 RBIs. There are guys that would kill for that kind of year. I mean, that's like a career year for a lot of people. He's looking at maybe another 40 home run, 100 RBI season, and perhaps 60 days in an insane asylum if this keeps up. Anyway, the Angels knock off the Yankees 8-4, and in the American League West, to the shock and surprise of the whole world, guess who is in first place? Unbelievable. The Minnesota Twins, who won the World Series 3 years ago in '87. They're in first, Chicago's in second, Oakland's in third, Texas now in fourth, but for the first time in a long time, there's actually a battle for a pennant in the American League West, as compared to, for example, the National League East and American League East, where Toronto is now 6 games in front of Detroit and 8.5 in front of the Yankees. That's the sports today. A little bit later than we usually do it, but hey, I just had to do that. So what are we talking about now? What were we talking about? Anybody know? Mike, what should I talk about? I know what I want to talk about. Like, if you had, what was that question about money? We were going to ask money, greed, power, corruption. What would you do if you had all the money in the world? What wouldn't you do for money? What wouldn't you do for money? Now, there you go. Jim Michaels, he's figuring, look at this. He's already putting his dog in oil. I mean, Jim, calm down. It's only a game here, all right? Scrappy's in heat. So, what wouldn't you do for money? Is there anybody that can ask that question? How do you answer a question like that? It's too open-ended. It's too broad. I mean, let's put it this way, okay? Let's ask specifics. We have to kind of focus the issue. If somebody gave you a $100 bill, would you throw a pie in Gary Daniels' face? If somebody gave you a $50 bill, would you throw a pie in Steve Kane's face? If Greg Budell came up to you and offered you money, would you go back to Y100 and throw paint on their building? You wouldn't commit a criminal act. But Stephanie, she's willing to do a lot of things, apparently, for money. The vote is, Stephanie, you keep the money and change your name and address, okay? It's 8:30. We're going to take a break. I need a break. I need some nice cold water with lemon in it. I do. And then I'll take some calls, because I have to take a break before I take the calls, and we're coming on to 8:30, and it's been a very strange morning, you know?
Florida's talk leader is AM 14 WFTL. Now it's more with Stormin' Norman Kent.
'Twas Brillo and the GE stoves did Procter Gamble in the glade. All Pillsbury were the tasty loaves and in a minute made. Beware the station break, my son, the voice that lulls, the ads that vex. Beware the doctor's claim and shun that horror called Brand X. He took his Q-tip swab in hand, long time the tension headache fought. So dristan he by a mercury and bear braked in thought. And as in Buffering Gulf he stood, the station break with rise of tame came whisking through the prized Hayde wood, and cream-rinsed as it came. By one, by two, we're almost through, the Q-tip dash went spick and span. He tied ere wick, and with Bisquick went arrow waxing ban. Oh, Mr. Clean, hast thou dreft the station break? Ajax the Breck, Cedron boy, oh, Fab wash day, cashmere bouquet, he handy-wrapped with joy. Ah, yes, 'twas Brillo and the GE stoves did Procter Gamble in the glade. All Pillsbury were the tasty loaves, and in a minute made. Jabberwacky by Mad Magazine, on dreaming after falling asleep after watching TV. Now, what was the actual poem by, was it Lewis Carroll? 'Twas Brillo again, see, now, I can't even, I've just done the phony, so I can't even remember the real one now. It was like, 'twas Brillig. I can't remember it. Will somebody call it in? I see, I did the phony one, and I've totally lost track of what the actual poem is. Now I'm going to have to sit here, and I'm not going to be able to do the show until somebody actually calls in that poem for me, Jabberwocky, which we had to memorize, I think, back in 3rd grade. Siam's Doll, maybe by Siam's Doll we'll have it. Wednesday, the 7th of August, the first Palm Beach FTL night. So I'm telling you, from Boynton to Biloxi, there is going to be a level of excitement generated that you have never seen ever before. Wednesday, August 7th, make your reservations now, because at 407-964-2703, Siam's Doll simply has the finest Thai food anywhere. It's 6659 Lake Worth Road. I think Greg Budell will be there. He won't screw up this time. Steve Kane, Scoop Daniels, Craig Worthing, Kenny Grove, Rick Seidemann, and Nick Lawrence sitting at the same table together as they were on Friday, on the air here from 3 to 6, making love, making war. Pat Mahoney, if he's not in Wichita, and me, Norm Kent. And welcome to the airwaves, a hot flash from Jack Thompson, our lawyer in Coral Gables, after a complaint from Coral Gables. This is out of the Minneapolis newspaper. After a complaint from Coral Gables attorney Jack Thompson, the Minneapolis city attorney will examine whether Musicland stores are illegally selling a new album by the rap group NWA to minors. Niggas for Life, Niggaz for LIFE is the one that Jack is upset about now. Well, Jack did one of his things that he likes to do. He sent some kid into a mall to buy it, and the family agreed, and the boy made a successful purchase of a 12-year-old boy made a successful purchase of the album. So Jack thinks that's illegal, and he's out there doing it again. You got to admire him, man. He doesn't give up. Hold on. Well, of course, I don't know if you should say that all the time, because Hitler didn't give up either. Okay, let's see. Greg Budell's in the studio. And, Greg, I've had an absolutely meaningless... Are you there?
I'm here.
Ow. Hold on. Okay, you should be on the air now. Your mic's on.
I am on the air.
Okay, well, I've had an absolutely meaningless morning.
I've been listening. And it has been meaningless.
Hasn't it?
Yeah. I'm really...
Mama said there'd be days like this.
I'm really disgusted today.
Well, wait till you see what a disgusting topic you have to deal with.
The guy who...
The guy who says child abuse, I don't know, HRS. Can't we just have like a lazy day Monday?
No.
Kind of like make-believe it's like there's a rainstorm out there, a thunderstorm, and people just call in and talk about books they've read or movies they've seen.
Did you hear the reaming that I took on Friday afternoon on the Steve and Gary show.
No, did they go after you again?
Yes.
Why
for
don't
like
they just get the hell away and back off?
I was ripped for my Huizinga interview, and I was ripped for everything. And I was called, quote, a needy suckbag on the air. And quite frankly, I don't know if I want to work here anymore. I really don't. I mean, I thought I came here to escape all of that
Do I
crap.
have to do 6 hours today? Is
You
that
might.
what you're saying?
You might. I'm going to talk to management about it because I'm tired of it.
What did he do?
I was
Why did they...
called a needy suckbag.
See, this is Gary. This is Gary fighting for that 9 a.m. slot.
Well, he can have it.
No.
You know, if he
No,
wants
Gary
it that
didn't.
bad.
Look, I can't believe Gary would call you names.
Well,
Gary's
he
just
did.
not-
I was listening.
Gary?
Yes.
Gary Daniels said something bad about somebody? He doesn't do that unless it's
Well, he
pre-programmed on a cart.
A needy suckbag.
Do you think he really said that, or Steve gave him the words and he was reading from a script?
I was listening. He really said that.
Why weren't you broadcasting the Miracle Game, doing something useful with your life?
Because they weren't playing Friday night.
Do you know, I figured this out, though, about life. And tell Mike, one of the engineers come in here because there's like a weird sound in my headset, and I don't know if it's going on the air. One of the engineers maybe drop by the studio for a second. Somebody? Can you come in here and check the headsets?
Speaking of headsets.
Oh, no, wait,
yeah,
seriously,
yeah.
what the question I have for you
Yes.
is, I figured this out. Here, Mike. The reality is that every time you're broadcasting a baseball game and there's a fan cheering or some father sitting with his kid and they're having fun,
Yeah.
you know, that's one less child that's getting abused.
Correct.
That's one more family that's having a good time around the TV set.
Right.
Joe Garagiola, Tim McCarver, Ralph Kiner, they serve a purpose in life. They really do.
Ralph Kiner says more dumb things. Every day there's something from him in the paper that makes no sense.
But that's the fun of Ralph Kiner.
It is.
That's why he serves
They work, yes.
a purpose, so that's all he can say is they work.
They work.
Mike James, you can listen to him here between 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. and maybe 9 to noon today. Now, why would Steve go after you? What was wrong with the interview with Huizinga?
I don't know. I thought we talked to each other like two baseball fans. You know, I asked him about Pete Rose. I thought there were some things in the interview that had not been expressed on other interviews. I mean, the guy's been everywhere, but...
like what?
I just can't seem to do anything right.
Maybe he's like attacking you to prod you to greatness. Maybe he's like a easy Greg. Easy Greg.
I'm pissed.
So this is like serious here.
Yeah, this is serious.
Well,
you know, if I want to be a needy suckbag, I'll turn on IOD and listen to Neil rip me day after day after day.
well, you know what the fun is? Why don't you just rip them back? Why don't you just come back right at them? Why don't you just stand up and start saying how you feel about what they're doing like you're doing now?
Well, I'm standing here and I'm telling you how I feel.
You don't have to threaten to quit. Just spend your 3 hours ripping them the way they rip you.
I got
Get into the gutter. Get dirty. Get money.
Get money.
Muddy.
Oh, muddy.
What wouldn't you do for money?
Just about anything.
No, you would do anything for money.
I'm working here. What the hell do you want me to add to that?
Well, is it time for a break yet? Or are we going to play this out on the air live? Yay! Now, I have to say, I am concerned, too, because Steve has been attacking you constantly.
Every day.
And you've begun to notice that?
Well, I just thought I had made improvements or, you know, done things a little more to his liking, but I guess not.
Well, why do you think that he's attacking you?
I don't know. I really don't know. Tell me, why do you think he is?
I don't know either. Okay. Maybe he wants you to improve. Maybe he wants you to... Maybe he's like the City Slickers, right? Jack Palance.
Yeah.
Kind of the way he treated Billy Crystal and those other two guys. Kind of inspiring them to greatness so that they could find inside their soul a depth and heart and creativity that he can only push out this way. The same way Tommy Lasorda congratulates people positively, Steve prods you negatively. Look at how Our Intel takes it. Well, he does that to Our Intel all the time, and Our Intel tells him to just go bug off.
Well, I expect it from Steve, but Gary, needy suckbag.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. over and over and over again.
Better be nice to Gary, because he'll come charging in here.
I don't care.
No, I'm sure he didn't mean it, Greg. I think you're taking this too personally.
Well, it ruined my weekend.
The whole weekend?
Yeah.
Is that why you didn't call me back last night?
Oh, did you call me last night?
Yeah, to talk.
Oh.
You didn't call me?
I didn't know you called.
Well, Sarah's on the phone. Should we talk to her?
Yeah.
Hello, Sarah.
Hi.
Hi.
I heard Gary Daniels on Friday do an interview with Robert Klein, and I thought that was the dullest thing I ever heard on the air.
How can a Robert Klein interview be dull?
That's quite an achievement.
It was. It really was.
Well, that's like going...
I mean, the questions he was asking him, I think, were really, not the right things,
But that took skill, Sarah.
I was going to come in and see him Friday night, see Robert Klein.
We would have seen each other.
But I was so disgusted with what I heard on the air that I said, I don't want to,
I know. So I felt the same way. So, one person always has to knock the other. So don't let it bug you, Greg. It shouldn't bug you at all, because he's not the greatest either. So take it from whence it comes.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, Sarah.
All right. Bye.
It's not, it's not easy to...
I know to forget. I understand.
Well, what should he do, Sarah? People are attacking him. He's got to respond.
Oh, definitely.
And why should he expose himself to that dirt and that mud? There's enough dirt and mud in the world.
Yeah, so give it...
Without having to walk in it even more.
Well, the only thing I would do is give it right back to that person.
That's what I would do. In a heartbeat.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Just like Jose Canseco, I'd go after that fan.
That's right. You have to do.
I like Albert Bell throwing a ball at somebody's face.
You can turn the cheek so many times. After a while, though, you just got to kick the crap out of somebody and get it out of your system.
That's right. You've got to stand up and fight.
Look what it did to your whole weekend, Greg.
I know. Well, that's just it. I kicked the crap out of myself.
Yeah, well, that's... Okay, we'll talk about it in a minute. We have somebody here that we can hire to take care of him. Okay, it is about 13 minutes to 9. I'm going to put together what's left of my show and this network in the next 30 seconds by talking to Greg. We'll be back with you in just a moment here on the FTL Network.
Florida's talk leader, 1400 AM. You're listening to WFTL.
Breasts. Breasts. Breasts.
Don't let him upset you. Ask him to talk about our show.
Okay, Billy, we'll get him to do that.
All right?
All right.
I'll see you.
Go get a hole in one, Billy. All right.
7 minutes before the Needy Suckbag show.
Greg, I am not going to stand here and let you wallow in a vat of self-pity. Kick ass back, okay? Make believe it is the bottom of the ninth inning. And the score is 3-2.
Boy, your Dodgers, man.
And
they can't twice their no-hit over the weekend? God, what is it with that team?
You missed my 6 to 7 hour. I pointed
Aren't you embarrassed to be a Dodger fan?
Pointed out that every year they had been victims of a no-hitter or
talk about a needy
game.
Suckbag baseball team.
Every year they had been the victims of a no-hitter or a perfect game. They went on to win the pennant or World Series. Really, in '88, Tom Browning shut them out. Perfect game for Dennis Martinez. '88, They won the World Series. This year they're in first place. In '74, they went on to the World Series with Oakland A's, and what happened? They went...
no hit for 9 innings on Friday night, a perfect game yesterday. They're going to win the Olympics, too. I mean, they're just...
Hey,
amazing.
Listen, they're not my Dodgers anymore. I am a Marlin fan, okay?
That's...
On Friday, I took my jackets
to Mr. Heisinger on my show Friday. I suppose that was a needy suckbag thing to do, too.
Which is what? Have a team
big
burning?
Bonfire, yeah.
A bonfire of all...
Yeah, to give, to pledge allegiance to the Marlins.
I agree. In fact, I took my Dodger jacket while I was on the air Friday, and I cut with a razor blade, not only my chest, but the whole Dodger lapel out. I just cut it out, and I taped in a Marlins thing. And, Wayne, I'm sending you the bill, okay? And Don Smiley better pay it, or at least get me a free drink at the Chop House. Let's go to Mitch, who has an important contribution here on the network.
Good morning. I listen to you fellas every single morning. I'm a salesman, and I'm in the car all the time.
What do you sell?
All kinds of accessories to the upper-end interior design trade and furniture stores.
Well, my house is decorated in early Babe Ruth, so I don't know if I could use anything.
There's an easy solution to the Steve Kane problem.
What is it?
Do what I do and a lot of people do. When he comes on, you turn him off.
Kane-aside.
Listen to you guys every single day.
You do?
But when he comes on...
Are we good?
I turn him off.
Are we good?
Okay.
Are Greg and I good?
So you're great.
Should we be on the air together more often?
Let me tell you something. If I had won the lottery and I buy a radio station, you guys would have a permanent spot. Do what you want to do because you do it great.
Here's $5 for my tickets.
Have a good one.
Okay, see that? A boast of self-confidence. We need to do that. Maybe we need to do like a self-confidence hour. Now, and sometimes when the phones don't light up, you start to say, gee, I must be doing something wrong. But that's not always the case. There are thousands of people out there, Greg, that admire you and listen to you, that care about you, that want you on the air, and could care less what other people say about you. So you just have to play your cards to them. So it's the bottom of the ninth. The bases are loaded. It's a 3-2 game. You're up at the plate. Now, number one question you have to ask yourself, if the game's on the line and you're losing 3-2, are you the person that wants to be at bat? Do you want to be at home plate batting?
Yeah.
And why?
Because I know I can hit,
Because you know you can hit.
Yeah.
Because you have confidence that you're going to win the game.
Right.
And if a bunch of guys in the other dugout look at you and they call you a candy ass and a needy suck bag and a faggot and every name under the book that they don't like, you know what you do? First you rip a line drive foul right into dugout and clear those maggots out, okay?
Right.
And then just hit a bullet into center field for a game-winning base hit and humiliate their ass. Okay? So just get a base hit. Don't talk about grabbing your bats and your balls and going to the dugout and going to some other station where they'll humiliate you there, too. If you want to be humiliated, you can do it right here at home in Fort Lauderdale. What do you want? You want to wind up in Seattle with the Mariners in that concrete dome? Really, give me a break here. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning. Hello. Is this Greg?
Yeah.
Greg, don't get it. They got you tabbed as a whiner. Don't let them do it.
Yeah, what is that? I mean, they're the ones that are doing all the whining, but it's about me.
They're jealous. They're jealous of his good looks.
Daniels and what's his name, Steve, they're in cahoots. They got you tabbed. You know what it is? I think they're trying to get rid of you. They're a little afraid of you. But a guy that's been in the public for so long. Hello?
Yes,
yeah.
We're here, Bill.
You've been on radio so long, you let them get to you?
For Christ's sakes, I mean, Greg is friends with Pee Wee Herman. Thanks for your call.
How about that?
How about that?
I've never liked that guy. I have never liked Pee Wee Herman. I've never been comfortable with the persona that he portrays on television. And look what happens.
Not exactly your average role model for a kid growing up.
I have a feeling that CBS or whichever network carries his crap is going to yank his stuff off the air.
His show's already been canceled, though.
Oh, it has?
Yeah, maybe that's why he wound up in this adult bookstore. He was working on some new material.
Well, it is a way to relieve tension.
Yeah, but typically that can be done in the privacy of one's bedroom. You don't necessarily need to go to a public theater to do that.
Right.
Especially in this VCR day and age.
With the lipstick, come on.
Really?
The guy, I always had that feeling about him, and now we know. But they say you can't judge people by,
by what
an appearance,
what
by
adult
the lipstick.
bookstores they
by the lipstick they wear.
Oh, well, so Greg, now you're okay, right? Right, Greg? I can leave the station and not have to get a beep that I'm coming back here in an hour?
Just don't take your headphones with you.
Oh, is this what it is?
One more day.
It's just a gig. Well, since you might not, you're only going to be here another couple of days, I guess I can lend them to you, It'll be no problem. Mike, do you have some of your material ready to come on in an hour's notice? With Red Roberts coming on at noon, we may have guest hosts here all day.
Oh, Red Roberts, the wrestler?
Is that who he is?
I guess.
I don't know. I never heard of a guy named Red Roberts. But not only that, he's got a doctor's degree. So, Dr. Budell, just don't take that crap. I'm sure Gary was saying it in jest. He wouldn't say anything to hurt anybody. And after all, take away the man's carts and let him do 4 hours, he'd be, naked in the studio. But at least they're funny. I mean, we don't have people making funny carts for us like that. We just have to play it en natural and do our best. Are you going to say anything?
No, I'm in awe.
All right, folks. I'll be back tomorrow, maybe in an hour or so. It depends on Greg's state. We'll be back tomorrow. Bye.